welcome to Flaktest Live. This is the brand new show in the brand new studio. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Jake. Yes, it is. It is very exciting. Everything's in black.
It's it's very slimming.
It is. Everything's in black except us.
I'm not in black.
Look, this is the brand new setting and the brand new show that we're going to be bringing to you guys every single Saturday. We're going to be covering off the top bits of news in esports and gaming that you need to know. We're also going to be talking about the games that have been played in the previous week, all of the highlights and actions those games, and then we're going to be previewing the games that we've got coming up across the day as well, which is really exciting.
And we've got some new stuff as well, Pete. We're going to be doing game reviews as well, so putting to use that time we spend playing the games anyway.
The Destiny 2 open beta a little bit later on today.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And also, we're going to be looking at some free-to-play games to see if they're worth your time and not your money, I guess.
Now, let's get straight into it because it is big news at the moment because it is championship season, Jake.
For everyone.
For everybody.
Everyone's doing competitions.
Not just our guys at flaktest.com rolling through their championship season across Australia as we speak, but yeah, right around the world, the championship seasons have opened right up. Let's start with Overwatch because it's been a big week for Overwatch.
It has.
Summer Games 2017 being released as well, which we'll get to in just a moment because I have played my heart out of the Summer Games 2017.
I know, you're so proud of something I'm sure you want to share with everyone.
Yeah.
Just tell them now. Just tell them now.
Not really. Do I need to share it?
Well, if you don't, I will, and I might make up lies.
Okay, so last weekend, after months and months and months of hammering the PC trying to get there, I finally, in this current competitive season, got to Platinum.
Platinum!
It's great, right?
And what's happened? What happened?
I've lost every game since. And I've dropped 200 SR. Yay me.
Because I remember you were 2 off for a long time, like literally 2. 1, 2 off, right?
Yeah, I was. The videos you can actually see at the Flaktest Gaming Facebook page. But I've come within so close. And one of the guys who actually plays in the current Overwatch season for Flaktest is a really great player. He goes by the gamer tag Styrell, Ben Brooks. He is probably one of the best DPS carries that I have seen.
Right.
The guy is an incredible McCree. He's really picking up his Tracer game at the moment as well. And this guy picks up his Smurf accounts and takes them from 1,700 to 3,500 just like in a week. You know, that and he has the time to do it. But anyway, he sort of gave me a few pointers and whatnot and talked to me about, you know, really using the health packs around the map and keeping yourself alive. And that's what got me to Platinum, which has been really good. But ever since then...
Because now you're at the next echelon of play.
Yeah.
That you're not ready for.
Yeah. And
I think you're too old.
No, it's just that there's still trolls who want to be Hanzo mains and Torbjorns.
Oh, yeah.
All right? And that's where we're going to leave it. So at the moment, the World Championships, all right, for Overwatch are being conducted. It's been really exciting. We've watched Australia absolutely dominate. For a change this time around, I mean, last year, they didn't get very far. And the reason being, they were pretty much made up of a team of 3 competitive players, you know, pro-style players,
right,
and 3 YouTubers.
The 3 guys they pulled off the street.
Pretty much,
who were
you
there,
know.
like vlogging.
Which you can understand because they want to try and build as much followers in their inaugural season as possible. But this year, it is serious, okay? Australia placed 13th in the world when it came to the initial group stages, which was really nice.
It wasn't out of 14 people, though, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was the top 32.
Oh, wow, that's actually pretty good.
So we're into the group stages now. Of course, most people watching this who would have seen all of the play happening in Sydney a couple of weeks ago saw them beat Japan and progress through to to BlizzCon.
Right.
So that's something we're really looking forward to. The other thing that we've been really excited about is that the Summer Games were released this week.
Right.
And man, a couple of really great things for us here in Australia, especially if you're a bit of a fan of cricket as well.
Oh, yep.
Junkrat and his legendary skin. He's put on the green and gold baggy green for Australia.
Of course, he can't walk without falling over.
No, he can't.
But
they've taken care of that as well, right? His peg leg is a cricket bat.
All right, it's great.
Right, it's great. And, you know, his main weapon is shooting out those bombs that like to bounce around.
Yep.
All right, they're all cricket balls. He's got the Australian kangaroo just stitched up around him as well, which is really good.
You know what they should have done, though? What would have made it for me is if his victory was him in front of, like the wheelie bin playing cricket.
Yeah.
That would have been so
What a great
Aussie.
idea. You know, we have a whole heap of great ideas, Blizzard, and we'll bring them to you very soon. So, yeah, that's really cool. The other thing that was really great for Australia as well, and I know that Blizzard are doing this because they know that there's a lot of really keen as beings Australian Overwatch players in the world, is that Sydney, Australia was announced as the other arena, or the next arena alongside Rio, because, of course, the first Summer Games was during the Rio Olympics. As the next Lucio Ball Stadium.
And have you heard the announcer? Welcome to Sydney.
I know. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't inspired.
I don't know if he's an Aussie or if he's just watched like too many Crocodile Dundee movies.
Yeah, quite
like,
possibly.
Welcome to Australia. Yeah,
I'm half waiting for him to go, throw another shrimp on the barbie. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
Yeah, look, it doesn't quite work like that. But look, it's good. Lucio Ball's a bit of fun, which is good. It's good to see that back, albeit with a few changes as well. I can't believe I'm about to say that Lucio does move a little bit quicker because he still moves pretty
so
slowly.
slow, though.
Especially, for you and I who are such avid Rocket League players as well.
Right, where you really need those twitch movements,
Yeah.
to be able to pull off some of the moves. Whereas Lucio Ball, he's like, I'll be right back. Oh, it's over there.
That's exactly how he does it too. So the other couple of things as well is that they've brought in the, I'll call it a buff for the loot boxes. So they have decreased the percentage chance that you will actually get duplicates. I have noticed this because for the first time in a long time, actually, picking up 4 or 5 loot boxes along the way, having played Summer Games for the past week now, I haven't gotten a duplicate once.
Wow, and you've played quite a bit, so you've got a bit of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any of the legendary skins yet,
which
I'm a little bit gutted. Actually, 1 gold popped up the other night, and I was like, yes, here we go. Come on, Junkrat. I don't want to spend 3,000 credits, and it turned out to be Orisa and one of her legendaries, and I was like, oh, man, she doesn't even have a Summer Games legendary skin.
Right, but just on that, what they've done too is you can now, because when Summer Games first came out, you couldn't unlock any of the legendary skins.
Yeah, that's right.
You had to get them through the loot boxes. What they've done now is they've brought all the 2016 skins, you can get them in the loot boxes, and you can buy them for only 1,000 credits now.
Yeah, so they've dropped the price on the legendary skins from last season. But the legendary skins for this season are still quite up there. They're still 3,000 credits.
And I'm going to have to spend 3,000 on Mercy's one.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
That's pretty good.
Looks so cool.
I love what they've done here. They've gone back to where the Olympics first started, which was in Greece, and they have actually given her like this Greek toga. The other great, skins that we've sort of come across as well, we'll just pick out a couple of favourites here. Reaper has a really awesome motocross skin.
Right.
This Summer Games, by the way, is beach themed, so there's a few beachy sort of legendary skins, which we've seen from Widowmaker. She's in a bikini, looking quite good. Sombra is having a bit of fun, a legendary skin as well. Probably my favourite, just aside from
I know who it
Junkrat,
is. I know who it's going to be.
It's going to be Soldier 76.
It's going to be Soldier Dad.
Yeah, Soldier Dad. He's got the sandals and socks
pulled right up.
He's got the Hawaiian shirt.
And he's at the barbecue.
He's got a barbecue apron on.
And a whole fish. Did you see that though?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Like a whole fish and half a cow.
It's brilliant. One of the things that I did see that was a little bit of fun, of course, Overwatch, because it's gaming and gamers, has a great community of people that are always talking about Overwatch and talking about the characters. One of the things that I did see them talking about is whether or not they can figure out if McCree is hot. Because he's hot or not. That's what's going on at the moment with McCree, because he's got the shirt off, he's got the boardies on, the hamburger meat's out a little bit.
Like that's what's important to the Overwatch
community? This is the great thing about the Overwatch community. They're a bit of fun. So anyway, Summer Games, it's on as we speak, will be for the next couple of weeks, and a lot of great stuff coming out.
Right.
As we continue the Champions season, it's probably a good idea, because we're talking about Summer Games, which came from the Rio Olympics, to continue with the Olympics theme. We already know 2022, it's set and sorted. Asian Games will have a gold medal event for eSports.
It's happening.
Now, I didn't know this until you told me, but
Right.
was it Rio?
So yeah, so at Rio, they didn't have esports as an event, but they did a big showcase. So they had all these really good gamers come in and put on a show as scratch matches.
Yep.
And it was sort of the Olympic Committee feeling out whether there's some interest, and I think there was lots of interest, and I think that's where they're going when they're talking about 2024.
Right. So 2024, the France Olympics. We definitely know Los Angeles is going to have 2028, and sure as heck by then we will at least see a gold medal Olympic event.
So.
But as we speak, the people behind the Asian 2022 Games and the people who need to speak to the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, are putting together their reports and compiling everything that they need to in terms of information to present to the IOC for the 2024 Olympic Games in France. Which is going to be a gold medal event for eSports, which is really cool.
We don't know yet what the game's going to be or any more details. They've been real hush about that.
I would have to think that it would have to be a game with broad appeal. I don't think it could be a Dota 2.
Probably not.
As much as that has a huge following, I also don't think it could be something like a League of Legends. And the reason being is because they're great games, but they're great games for people who know about them and play them. Right. We're talking about the Olympics. We're talking about 2 weeks here. We're talking about as much broad appeal as possible. I'd say it has to be a game that's fairly easy to get. Maybe the stylized violence is something they might pull away from. It might not be a Call of Duty or something like that.
Right? You think like one of the most popular, widely available games would be a Call of Duty title.
Right.
So I know what you're thinking.
Well, does the IOC necessarily want like a Call of Duty title where it's bang bang,
I don't think
shooting
so.
in the head?
No
I don't think they want that for
way.
their brand.
Because Olympics family, right?
So I am kind of thinking it could be one of 2 games. It could either be Overwatch, right, which it's cartoony sort of violence, but it's fairly easy to get, 6v6 FPS, you know what's going on. Or it could be FIFA.
Oh.
Right, but you're not a FIFA player.
I'm not.
Okay.
So, but there's already soccer in the Olympics, isn't there?
That's
so why would I watch video game soccer?
Well, that's the other flip of the coin, isn't it? You know, which one would you watch? Are they taking away viewers from, proper soccer, which is happening out real time in a pitch? Are they taking those viewers away by actually having FIFA as an esports tournament? I think there's enough of a community to be able to have them both. However, that's something that will be to be determined.
Yeah, I know what it is, actually. It's going to be Wii Sports.
Wii Sports?
Yeah, it'll be tennis.
Fantastic.
Wii Sports, tennis, bowling.
Yeah, that's great. Because then all you're going to see is this guy, like a couple of guys taking each other on with Wii Sports, and it'll be this.
It'll be great.
Remember the flick of you could just flick your wrist
to
actually
but then
serve?
You know when you got real close to the net, the people at the front of the net, and all they do, they just be doing this. Yeah.
Back, forth. It
was great.
Look, it could even be Hearthstone, maybe a card game or something.
Who knows?
Like that.
I mean, you did mention Dota, right? And so Dota's probably the sort of game that's a bit out of the appeal for a wider audience.
Well, it's unless you've been playing it since day dot, or at least have some sort of experience in gaming and that sort of realm, it's a very hard game to get your head around.
Right, but Kotaku have got some guides around how to watch the game, right?
They do have some guides around how to watch the game. One in particular which they threw out there because the Dota 2 International Tournament is on as we speak.
And that's the thing, right? And there's some serious money up for that.
$29 million prize pool. So
Just
this prize pool, this prize pool has grown year on year, okay? Virtually exponentially. But look, from last year to this year, it has grown... $4 million. I think it was $26.9 million last year.
About that, yeah.
Right, so 26.9 to 29, let's say $2 million, which is double what it first was back in 2011 when the very first Dota 2 International came along. So we've got some really exciting things to be watching out for at the moment. And the other thing, of course, as we mentioned Call of Duty before, is that Call of Duty Worlds is on as we speak.
That's right. And that's the interesting game because it has such a wide appeal and it's on every console. So you have all these players from PlayStation to Xbox to PC all vying to be the best.
Well, that's the thing. That's the great thing about it. It is supported by PlayStation and the PS4, and it is currently with a prize pool of $1.5 million USD.
It's nothing to sniff at. That's a decent amount of money.
A hell of a decent amount of money. And the MVP of the tournament will also get themselves a handy $25,000 USD as well. Usually in these major tournaments, the major players who end up winning split the prize pool. A little bit goes to their management, a little bit goes to the team owner, a little bit goes back into the team, and then the players split the rest. But in this case, the MVP of the tournament will get themselves $25,000.
Just a bit of cash in the back pocket.
That's
Thanks
right.
for coming down.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting to be a gamer at the moment. There's so much. That'll do it for Champions Season and also our top bits of news that you need to know on your Flaktest show.
But don't go anywhere because stick around. We're going to be reviewing a free-to-play game to see if it's worth your time. It's Galactic Junk League.
Space cowboys blowing up blocks. Welcome to Galactic Junk League. We look at free-to-play games to see if they are worth your time, and Galactic Junk League is a bit of a weird one. It's a little bit sandbox, a little bit MOBA, sci-fi, spaceship building, multiplayer, free-to-play title. Released by Pixel Federation just last week in July, it is hot off the press, but it doesn't really show it. Aside from one of our group having some crashing issues, though he is running an older AMD rig, the rest of us were pretty much fine. It was certainly refreshing to see a game release on Steam that wasn't an alpha or beta build, which does seem to be the growing trend. Galactic Junk League is set in the distant future. The Earth is destroyed. Humanity lives among the stars. And for entertainment, they blow the crap out of each other in a giant arena. You would think that if we lost the Earth, then maybe we'd all just try to get along. But you'd be wrong. You play the role of a spaceship captain / ship designer who clearly was never allowed to play with Lego as a child and is now making up for lost time. You build your ship from different blocks. There are rocket boosters, weapons, shields, and special abilities that might just give you the edge over your opponents. There aren't many rules when it comes to building your ship, though we found some of the best builds seem to be missile salvo focus ships, although it didn't always guarantee us a win. Plus, the laser gun ships sounded amazing, and it was so satisfying melting parts off your enemies. The gameplay itself was very smooth, lag wasn't noticeable, the controls were a little weird, but you are controlling a spaceship in space, so you'd expect them to be a little bit slow to react. You and your team of 4 start at one end of the map, and your goal is to get to 1200 points. You do this by capturing and holding 3 objective points on the map, as well as taking out the other team. This is where the fun of Galactic Junk League really starts to show, and it's what sets it apart from other games. You never really know what you're going to be coming up against, as your opponent's imagination could very well dream up anything. Unlike other games in a similar style, you build your own ship, for better or for worse. We suffered through many a bad builds of our own before we learnt some of the finer points of junkyard spaceship engineering. Pro tip, you do need to have armour. And if you lose a gyroscope, you can't turn at all. In the many rounds we played, we never came up against an impossible ship, so the game feels pretty well balanced. Even playing against other players who had purchased special block packs, that's how the game makes their money, wasn't the sometime typical impossible task of a pay-to-win dressed up as a free-to-play game. We give Galactic Junk League 6 out of 10 potatoes. The download size is 1.4 gig, using just over 5 gig when installed. We recommend that you check it out. It's worth a play.
Play at your peak with PLE computers. Get the Flaktest Rocket pre-built gaming PC exclusive to PLE right now at ple.com.au. It's got an Intel Core i5 7400 Kaby Lake 3GB processor, the MSI B250i Gaming Pro AC Micro ATX motherboard, as well as 8GB of DDR4 2400MHz RAM. Of course, they've thrown in a 480GB SSD, the GeForce GTX 1060 graphics card, and not to mention, it looks amazing with more LEDs and RGB lights than you can throw a stick at. Get it now, the Flaktest Rocket pre-built gaming PC exclusive to PLE, ple.com.au.
Welcome back to Flaktest Gaming. I'm Pete.
I'm Jake.
And this is our brand new setup. If you've only just joined us, you've got so much more to see. In the next 15 minutes, we've got our Destiny 2 open beta review as well.
It's pretty cool.
And also, we're about to take you through everything you need to know about the current Flaktest Gaming League of Legends tournament that's going on right across the nation as we speak, right across Australia. All details at flaktest.com. Just before, you would have seen our Intergalactic Junk League review. You'll be able to see that at the Flaktest Gaming YouTube channel and also at flaktest.com as a web story as well if you want more information. It's our free-to-play for the week, and it was a bit of fun.
It was a good game, Pete. I definitely recommend checking it out because it's free.
Exactly. That's always handy. So, look, before we just get into Flaktest Gaming's stuff that you need to know, we've got highlight packages to get through, a whole heap of really amazing gameplay from the guys who are rolling out and representing their schools in the tournament as we speak. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel, to our Twitch channel as well, and we're across every other bit of social media as well.
We got them all.
Flaktest.com is the place that you can visit to go and see all of the information that you need to know to not only become a part of the tournament season, if you want to represent your school, whether it be this year or next year as well, but also to see current standings, group stages, and just to follow along with your favourite teams too. Speaking of group stages, let's get into the League of Legends Season 1 group stages for 2017 so far.
So, Pete, Group 1, right at the top there, the Fair Valians, they have been riding the top of the competition for Group 1 from the beginning. They're sitting on 18 points. CSHS Salado are there with 16 points. Balladura just trailing behind with 12. And Les Murdy, Team 2, are tied up there as well.
It's so amazing to see that, Balladura and Les Murdy, they're still in it. They're only 4 points behind second place and 6 points behind first place, even though their wins have come from 3. They've lost 3 as well. But the Fair Valians absolutely dominating this group, have not dropped a game yet.
They're unstoppable, and that puts the pressure on them. But I think the real pressure's on Balladura and Les Murdy because only one of them can make it through. You know what I mean? So it's going to be pretty tight.
That's right. As we move on to Group 2.
So as we go to Group 2, we see Shenton College go next. These are a great team, also undefeated, sitting on 18 points. Of course, a good old BLT and Bosley Park senior team, only trailing behind by not much between them. Of course, they're quite a bit off Shenton, Pete.
Yeah, they are quite a bit off Shenton, as are most of the competition. Shenton, like we saw with the top in Group 1, undefeated. And these guys, of course, we expected this from them. They are the grand finalists from the 2016 season for League of Legends as well. PVA leading that team. He is absolutely sensational, one of the best kiters in the group that we've seen, let alone the entire competition. But kind of like Group 1, you've got your breakout team in Shenton College go next, and then the rest, it's an uphill battle for everybody else.
And as we go to Group 3, Pete, it's some strong teams here too. Tied for third place is Roxburgh, St. Norbert Cannons, and St. Andrews College. Now, talk about a tough group there.
Yeah, it is a very tough group. We've seen some fantastic games, the highlights of which we're about to bring you as well. But look, I've got a bit of a soft spot for St. Norbert Cannons.
Of course you do.
I am a St. Norbert's alumni, so love to see that happening. I feel a little bit sorry for their counterparts, St. Norbert's FOB. They promised so much, but haven't delivered a huge result. However, it doesn't actually show in the standings for Group 4. They are the top of the table and 1 point ahead of Atwell Lol Rav.
That's it, Pete. So, but you look how tight that group is. So Group 4, there's only 1 point between first place and second place. Of course, there's 2 teams tied for second place. And then Seton CC Bronze Scrubs are coming in third with 14 points.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so close.
It is so close, particularly in these last couple of groups. Group 3 and Group 4 always deliver so much. It is a really close competition. And of course, being a close competition, it means that we get some incredible highlights from the actual group stages as well, of which we're about to show you. First up, we've got SNC. This is from last weekend versus St. Andrews College. This was a huge surprise. SNC Cannons went on to actually win this game in the end. St. Andrews College has been such a strong competitor throughout. Of course, they've got some incredible players right up there in the championship series like Ciol Full and Ciol Fwy, but somehow Cannons managed to do really well. You can see here at the 17-minute mark, this massive group fight. It was over to the Cannons again with a double kill. Absolutely brilliant play. And they're just, one after the other. This was happening all afternoon from Turtle Master, just being able to get those grabs throughout the entire game. And he was pretty much the one who carried the team. More group stages here as we're watching into the 20th minute mark. And as you can see by the scores, 31,000 playing 30,000 and very close in kills. But towards the end there, it only took another 9 minutes for SNC Cannons to absolutely dominate the St. Andrews College in the end and get the win with a really impressive score by the end of it. As we move on to the next game, this was Kerry College versus St. Norbert FOB. I loved watching this match because there was so much of this going on. So many team fights happening throughout this match. It was all action and it was very close for a very, very long time. We see as the 13th minute mark here, a big team fight happening, 4 kills to 3. And Zora, who was playing back-to-back matches, getting another double kill there. This here was a rope-in that was really exciting. Zora, yet again, managing to get away, not only get away, but actually kill the other two players that he was taken against. Zora, yet again, on a rampage. Just Zora throughout this entire Saturday of back-to-back games that Zora had to play. Really up there with PVA in terms of tournament players, and really one of those ones that was stretching their team along. 25-11 at the end, a 38-minute game. Kerry College absolutely dominating St. Norbert FOB. As we move on to Seaton versus GSCC, one of my favourite plays from Tubi here. I have no idea how he managed to actually get away from that gank there, but he did. He managed to get under the turret. They didn't decide to dive him, which was a good point because it was nice and early there. But yet again, we see Zora on a rampage. Very soon you're going to see double kills, triple kills, and quadra kills from Zora. He was the one who was carrying his team. Don't get me wrong, he was being supported well by his team, but he was carrying them through this entire match. Back-to-back games. This was his second one of the game. There's the triple kill at 18.5 minutes, 14-6. It was a pretty close matchup for the first sort of 5 or 6 minutes, and then because of Zora, they decided to just continue to dominate. This was one of the second last plays of the game at the 25-minute mark. Managed to access the enemy nexus from the top, and then just streamline all the way in there and destroy the enemy nexus, and it was Seaton all the way. Final game of highlights here for League of Legends in the Australian League. CSHS, this is Salado versus the Fairvalians. It was a pretty close game for the entire match. 17 minutes here, we're watching 5-8. Fairvalians were doing really well. They were the ones that just happened to be ahead for enough of the match, and they were the ones who were just getting those little wins, the little 1%ers every single time there was a big team fight. As you can see, Wiseman was one of the better players for the teams, 25.5 minutes, and they're already into the enemy nexus. They completely dominated towards the last sort of 5-6 minutes of this match, taking them out, and then this was just a bit of fun to watch them just pump the other team into their spawn and just not even let them have the opportunity to get out. 19-11, as we can see on the scores there. 26 minutes. They did a great job of just dominating towards the last sort of 10 minutes of that match. And the gold scores you can see there were absolutely massive as well. So congratulations to all of our League of Legends teams from last weekend. Of course, the next time you're going to see the Flaktest show next Saturday, we're going to have plenty more highlights, not just from League of Legends, but also from Overwatch as well. I've got to say a quick shout out. Whilst we don't have the highlights for you here today, but a quick shout out to the Hale School Black Swans and the Hale School White Swans. It was a Hale School I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, right?
You are.
I can't even begin to tell you how awesome the match was between the White Swans and the Black Swans in a Hale School derby, because it was map flipping. It was constant map flipping.
Right.
It was getting to 45% and then the map would flip. 47%, the map would flip back. 99%, the map would flip back. 99%. Time on. Like, it was so exciting to watch these two teams. They are so evenly matched. Definitely the ones we're probably going to be seeing towards the Overwatch Grand Final.
But you know why? It's because they know each other so well. They play, obviously, socially with each other, and they're like, oh, we're playing against each other in one of our first games.
I couldn't agree more. And it was very exciting for the rest of us to actually watch. So, look, we've got that game. We've pocketed it away. It's going to be awesome highlights that we'll pull out at some point, and you're going to be able to see that stuff at the Facebook YouTube page, also at the Facebook at the Facebook page for Flaktest Gaming. I'm getting so excited I can't even. Everything's gone buzzing.
It's all falling apart for you, Pete.
At the Facebook page for Flaktest Gaming, at the YouTube page for Flaktest Gaming as well. We'll throw it up on Twitch. Basically, we're putting it everywhere you could possibly access because we need you to see these two teams go at it. It's just map flip. That's probably what we'll call the video, map flip, because that's what it was all about throughout their entire match.
Right.
Look, that does it for the highlights. Just a little bit of information before we get to our Destiny 2 beta review. But just quickly, make sure you check out flaktest.com. Also find us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, everything else that you need as well, because we're putting stuff everywhere. There's plenty more information to come and plenty more matches to come in League of Legends for 2017, not to mention Overwatch, and our CSGO Grand Final is coming up very soon.
Very soon, Pete.
So plenty of highlights to come out of those that you're going to see very soon as well. All right, let's get to it. You've been waiting for this, our Destiny 2 open beta review.
Eyes up, Guardian. Welcome to Destiny 2. The theme of this iteration of the Grindfest game that we came to love is everything is on fire. The ground, fire. The tower, fire. The sky, fire. The Cabal, fire. You'd think that with all the fire there'd be plenty of light around, but you'd be mistaken. Destiny 2 seems dark and gritty in a way that Destiny 1 never quite was. I mean, sure, there was the whole Crystal Vex Time Lord hellbent on destroying our way of life, and that time we killed a god and his son, but Destiny 2 seems different. The tower has been destroyed. Our loot is gone. Spoiler alert, our light is gone too. This big idiot took it, and he calls himself Dominus Ghoul, and he appears to be a bit of a tool. He comes screaming into Earth with his armada, somehow blowing up the plethora of high-tech satellites in orbit that were supposedly blinded by a little storm. Anyway, Ghoulie rocks up with all of his mates and proceeds to destroy everything you'd worked so hard for, everything you and your faction held dear. Then, to top it all off, he takes our light. And that's it, that's all Bungie decides to show us for the main story arc. And I gotta say, I'm hooked. We, the players, have been crying out for a Cabal-centered story arc since vanilla Destiny hit the shelves almost 3 years ago. However, I can't help but feel that this, from what little we've seen so far, is really just Destiny 1.5. The game feels the same, although special shout out to the Warlock grenades that look and sound amazing. You see, what I mean is, the boss in the strike you get to play in the beta, his name is Protheon the Modular Mind. Well, he's just a big bullet sponge that cycles through getting madder and madder the more you shoot at him. He pretty much appears to be Atheon's little brother who now gets to step into the spotlight and then promptly get blown apart. Not to mention the controversy surrounding all console editions of the game being locked to 30 FPS. 30 FPS? Now why in this day and age, with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X being more than capable of 4K 60 FPS, let alone 1080 60 FPS, would you lock it down to 30? Why? I'd ask them, but I'm sure they'd say they don't have time to explain. At least the PC version, which I will be playing this time around, has been confirmed to not be frame locked and will support up to 4K widescreen. The PC version is shaping up to be, perhaps, the best way to experience Destiny 2. Let's talk about balancing, something that has been a point of contention for Destiny from the start. And it always seems to be centered around what is best for PvP, that's player versus player. Shotgun too powerful in Crucible? Better nerf him for the whole game. Icebreaker has too many rounds? Better take some out. For everyone. Look, Bungie, I understand that you need to balance PvP, but really, how hard is it to have two separate weapon systems for PvP and PvE? Too hard to do apparently, and so hard to do that Destiny 2 seems to have cranked it up to 11 when it comes to favouring PvP over PvE. The weapon system is built entirely for PvP. Fusion rifles, those now sit in the heavy slot. Why? Yeah, it sucked getting frag in the Crucible to someone who had mastered the timing and use of the fusion rifle. But now, when I want to go slay dregs or massacre some thralls, I have to worry about heavy ammo? Ugh. Warframe, a free-to-play game, got this right in 2012, Bungie. Pull up your socks. I know it won't change, and I know you won't see this or probably care, but please, couldn't we just go back to the old system for PvE? I don't care about PvP. Stop trying to be a multiplayer-focused game. This isn't Call of Duty or Battlefield. Let me play PvE with my friends, let me raid properly, don't restrict my subclass customizations for crying out loud. How about this? Just split the systems into PvP and PvE. Who knows? Maybe there will be some changes by the time the PC beta comes out on the 28th of August, but I won't be holding my breath. Perhaps we'll see more of Dominus Ghoul and learn why he decided to crash our party. I, for one, am looking forward to see if we get a real PC version or a horrible port. My money, hopefully, is on the real version, but we'll see. Also, bonus points to the first person to find the Loot Cave 2.0. They can't patch them all, but you know they'll try. Based on the beta and what we've seen, we'll give Destiny 2 7 out of 10 potatoes, but we reserve the right to change the score once the game comes out. Play at your peak with PLE Computers. Get the Flaktest Rocket pre-built gaming PC exclusive to PLE right now at ple.com.au. It's got an Intel Core i5 7400 Kaby Lake 3GB processor, the MSI B250i Gaming Pro AC Micro ATX motherboard, as well as 8GB of DDR4 2400MHz RAM. Of course, they've thrown in a 480GB SSD, the GeForce GTX 1060 graphics card, and not to mention, it looks amazing with more LEDs and RGB lights than you can throw a stick at. Get it now, the Flaktest Rocket pre-built gaming PC exclusive to PLE, ple.com.au. Well, that'll do it for today at Flaktest. It's the end of the show, Pete.
It is. There's been plenty that we've covered off. And don't forget, you'll be able to actually see this show in replay on YouTube at Flaktest Gaming and also on our Twitch stream as well as one of the uploaded vids. And you'll be able to find it very soon at flaktest.com, our website, where you can see everything else that we've been writing about. Plenty of stories there, one of which I'll get to in just a moment as well. Literally breaking news just to hand for Overwatch fans. But just want to say a quick thank you to a whole heap of people that go to making all this possible.
Of course, a big shout out to our mates down at PLE Computers, of course to Corsair, as well as Streamline Servers, SciTech. Who else, Pete? Everyone.
Yeah, everybody.
I want to thank my mum.
Oh, she's a nice lady.
Yeah, and your mum.
And my mum's a good woman as well. Look, just before we do go, a little bit of Overwatch news just to hand.
Tell me, you haven't told me anything. You literally ran back while we were watching the Destiny review, and you said, Jake,
check this out.
Look at this.
Yeah, so Jeff Kaplan, he's the head cheese for the Overwatch team.
Yep.
He likes to put out his developer updates every week or so,
Yep.
and that's great. I love the fact that he loves them.
He also doesn't care about what anyone else thinks of his game.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a good game. You like it or bad luck.
And they've been doing really good things for this game. Obviously, the popularity shows all of that. But they made a major announcement in a video that they've just dropped over the last sort of 48 hours or so, a developer update. A deathmatch-style multiplayer FPS mode will be coming to Overwatch in the arcade very soon. So think Call of Duty, where the objective of the game is to rack up as many kills as possible.
Right.
This is going to be coming to Overwatch. Now, he did say in that video that last year he was asked a fair bit at BlizzCon, and then throughout that, will a deathmatch ever come to Overwatch? It was something that they didn't feel was right for the game at the time, because when it comes to multiplayer FPS and that style of deathmatch, it's not usually a team thing. It's usually everybody going off and doing their own thing.
Yeah, so how do you balance that? Because there can be some heroes that are just absolutely not going to be fairly matched against each other.
So I assume that, they'll do their public region testings to eventually balance that out, but maybe, I don't know, it will be attack heavy. I would like to see, considering that it's going to be two teams going up one against the other, still that ability to be able to pick and choose. Maybe we'll see a sort of a hybrid mode come out of this, like people that will go, yeah, look, I'd really love to sort of take off and do my own thing, but at the same time, we want to try and rack up as many kills as possible. So who knows just yet? But yes, this will be coming. It will be coming to the arcade mode. And he did say that's the benefit of the arcade mode that they've seen, which has had things when it comes to events like Summer Games, them being able to launch things like Lucio Ball.
Right.
Total Mayhem is in there, Lockout Elimination, Mystery Heroes. So it's been a really great place that you can actually go and play some different things without it affecting the competitive or quick play way of playing.
Because it's going to be 6v6 Diva Mech.
Right, pretty much. That's nothing wrong with that, man. I like that.
But that's what it's going to be.
6v6 Diva Mechs versus Hanzos. That would be brilliant. Now, the other thing that he did say, which is really exciting, is that a brand new map is going to be coming specifically designed for the deathmatch mode, okay?
Right.
This map is going to be called Chateau Guillaume.
Okay.
Right? And it is Widowmaker's family home before she became Widowmaker. Okay, not Chateau Guillaume, Chateau Guillard.
So there's going to be some pretty cool voice lines.
Yeah, there's going to be pretty cool voice lines. I think the great thing that we'll be able to see is getting in and around the map to actually see the little Easter eggs and hints about what she was like before she actually went on, got married, then everything else in her history happened, and she became the Widowmaker that we know today.
Right.
As far as the other maps are concerned, they will be involved as well, but they have modified them a little bit to tailor them towards a 6v6 style of play. But this particular map, Chateau Guillard, is the one that has been specifically designed for it. And by that I mean there's nice open areas for Farah to get up and around. There's nice little tight corridors for you to play a little sneakily, maybe use your Tracer or your Reaper around those sort of things. It's going to be a really exciting thing that we're going to see very soon.
Do we have a date?
We don't have a date just yet, okay? But
I need it. You told me. Now I need it.
Well,
I didn't know I needed it till I needed it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like most things. I didn't know I needed Overwatch till I needed it. But
or
look,
a PC?
I think the information that you're going to see very soon, we'll keep you updated at flaktest.com and at the Facebook page and everywhere else as soon as we have a date for the release. But considering all of the information that he pumped out in the developer update, I got to say it's probably not too far off.
Yeah.
One more thing, a lot of people play arcade mode because every 3 wins you get a loot box. All right, in these particular modes, your wins, if you're the top of the tree, will go towards your arcade mode currency. Right. But also with one particular mode of 6v6 deathmatch they're going to be doing, if you make it in the top 4 of players with the most kills, you will also get a little tick out of the 3 towards your loot box.
More loot boxes. So they really are gearing it towards that. It's sort of a single-player standalone thing, like you're getting rewarded for being good, not for the team being good?
At the end of the day, it is deathmatch, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're going to be playing deathmatch, it's about racking up the most kills that you possibly can. So, look, I think it's a great thing. I think arcade mode is a great place to actually put it. It doesn't affect the core gameplay that we love for Overwatch so much, but it gives us an opportunity to try something a little bit different, and it's going to make a lot of fans out there for Overwatch who have been crying out for something like this very happy.
Excellent, Pete. I can't wait to beat you in TDM.
Yeah, good luck. That'll do us for Flaktest Gaming this week. We will be back next week, but don't forget to check us out across all social media and at flaktest.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you then.
Play at your peak with PLE computers. Get the Flaktest Rocket pre-built gaming PC exclusive to PLE right now at ple.com.au. It's got an Intel Core i5 7400 Kaby Lake 3GB processor, the MSI B250i Gaming Pro AC Micro ATX motherboard, as well as 8GB of DDR4 2400MHz RAM. Of course, they've thrown in a 480GB SSD, the GeForce GTX 1060 graphics card, and not to mention, it looks amazing with more LEDs and RGB lights than you can throw a stick at. Get it now, the Flaktest Rocket pre-built gaming PC exclusive to PLE, ple.com.au.